Welcome to Soltron. This is the video review for the Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus 3D printed add-on kit. So here's a size comparison with some other figures, and I think this add-on kit scales really well with everything. And it does give this figure quite a bit of heft. It does make him feel as heavy as the animated Ultra Magnus, which is very nice. Actually, I was way off. This is like 18 ounces for the animated Ultra Magnus compared to the now 24 ounces of the Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus. So it gives him a lot of heft. He's actually much heavier than the animated, which was also a very solid figure. And here's the 360 view of this guy all kitted up. And I really like the way that this transforms him. It reminds me of something from Macross. It's just so over the top and just full of missile pods. He looks really good. The color matching is really bad. Like, it doesn't fit the American version at all. He's more of a teal and this is more of a sky blue. It really doesn't match up. It's like not even attempting to match up. It actually looks better on camera, but it's not even close. But I think it's okay. So I kind of like this version of him with all these armor parts added on. So it's like his arm pieces, these leg pieces on the side, and he's got these extra foot pieces as well. So it's technically two kits. The feet pieces are one kit, and then all the rest is considered its own kit. But I think this really transforms the way he looks, and I couldn't find any information about this kit, so I decided to do my own review. But yeah, I really enjoyed the aesthetics of this. So it is a 3D printed kit. It did come from China, but the quality is actually, I was surprised by how good it is. I did shave down a lot of the pegs because they were just too tight. And even then, like, he still doesn't want to unpeg a lot of these parts. Okay, there we go. This shoulder was very tight. I even shaved down this tab and it still holds it very tightly. And you can see there's 3 settings. So you can have the guns diagonally, straight up, or you could have them backwards. That's only because they're exactly the same. So they actually look a little bit better. They look pretty cool if they're at like 3/4, but of course it's not very practical. You can't have them angle forward, unfortunately. They probably could have got by on just having the tab instead of having this square one. I guess you could just cut that off, or you could cut a channel here if you want to keep that square tab, but it's a little unnecessary, a little tighter than it has to be. And the tabs in this kit don't need to be shaved down, but I recommend it because some of these things are just overly tight right after it's printed. So it's better to be, I guess, too tight than too loose and have to add glue or something. So really good job on the tolerances on this kit. They really got it down pat. Anyway, so these are his huge shoulder lasers, which are very cool, but you can just take these off, and I think that also looks pretty good, and we'll get rid of his dumb combined weapon. And I guess in one of the panels of the comic I saw, he did have this dumb like spear kind of weapon where these two like pegged into this, and then he holds this like a Power Rangers spear or something. So you can definitely replicate that look, which is what they were going for with the kit. It's very heavy. He's going to have some issues holding it, but everything does technically fit in there. He's not going to be able to wield it around very much, but technically that's a configuration you can have. You can have this kind of spear hammer looking thing, which is very silly. I'm not sure how he would even use this in the comic. Would he just like point it at people and shoot them? I don't know. But it looks cool, even though it's not very practical. I have to like rest it on his shin here for him to be able to hold it up because it's so heavy. But that actually, I can't argue with the results. He looks good. So like, kudos to whoever designed this kit. They did a really great job. It transforms his look a lot. I really don't like the G1 Ultra Magnus, so I really like how much different this makes him. I wonder if you can... Oh, that's cool. I guess you can put his original shoulder pods onto the upgrade kit too, so you can just have those going on while you have this giant combined weapon. So very nice, very well thought out. Like I said, this thing is 3D printed. If you look closely at it, you can see some of the layer lines, but this is really nice. I don't get 3D printed things very often, so this is probably just like a standard 3D print. You can definitely see some layering, but it's very nicely done. You don't see it too much. And then, yeah, they assembled it in a really weird way. There's no glue or tabs or anything. Everything's just held in by friction, so you can really just take this whole thing apart just by pulling the pieces out. Everything just has really good tolerances, so it's all friction in place. I'm sure if you wanted to, you could just glue everything, but it's a little unnecessary. Everything's going to hold in pretty nicely. So yeah, this kit was 60 bucks. I think it's definitely worth that amount for how much plastic you're getting. Maybe not. It's kind of a big ask for somebody to spend 60 bucks, which is basically what this figure costs nowadays, just to try out this kit, but it looks pretty cool, I have to admit. Yeah, and everything just pegs on, well, except for his shoulder pylons. Those are going to slide over his existing shoulders. They just have like a sleeve, and it just slides on with friction, and you just shove it all the way on. These fit pretty well. They're not overly tight. And then his shoulder pads just peg into this here, and this is the tab that I cut down a little bit, and it's still a little bit tight, as you saw. And this whole kit has no moving pieces, so it's all just assembled to just work with what you got. And then this piece is very interesting. It actually has this kind of tab piece, which honestly is pretty thin, and that actually goes, it attaches right here into this slot. You make kind of a slot right there, and then you just slide this in, and it fits pretty snug, but I could see that this is a pretty thin piece of plastic. I don't know how long that'll last. I don't have a lot of experience with 3D prints. And then this just pegs onto this hard point right here. So you get this nice little missile pod. And then this missile pod here pegs in right there. And then his feet are pretty fancy. And also, of course, a little bit overly tight. So they peg in here and here and here. So you've got that tab right there, here, here, and here. So it tabs in pretty nicely. So we can get a good look at what he looks like. Oops. With one half of his armor on and one half of his armor off. We gotta get his regular foot out. So I like to think of this kit as like just an extra upgrade or an armor kit that he puts on when he's going into battle. But you can see his unarmored side versus his armored side makes a huge difference. He just gets so much more bulk. And the nice thing about these feet add-ons, which are pretty good, is that they are ball jointed and they do have pretty good friction for now. The whole assembly is just this ugly ball joint, and it's just shoved into this shaft. So you can extend it and collapse it, so you can make it flush, or you can pull it out a little bit so you can get all your articulation. So as you can see, there's already a lot of powder here from usage. So I can definitely see this getting looser and looser and eventually just completely failing. I wouldn't be surprised. This is a thing you use sparingly, and it's the same assembly. It's all just friction together with the different colors. Nothing's glued. It's just really nicely engineered. But yeah, so pretty good kit. And then everything, well, everything except for these does fit into his vehicle mode. And just to be thorough, without the kit on, he weighs almost exactly 11 ounces. So the kit is actually heavier than the original figure. All right, so to get everything on vehicle mode, you're going to get the gun barrels, and they're going to clip here into the front of the vehicle trailer. You can get these forearm pieces, and the shoulder piles are going to slide onto there, and then this is going to peg into the rear wheels, and then you're going to get the large missile launchers, and that's going to peg into the back of the vehicle. And then basically you get what's left over is the shoulder pad, and oh, you lost the, again, these things aren't glued into place, so this little emblem area just fell right out. It's all just friction in there. And then you're going to, there's little holes right here, so you just tab this, or you peg this into place here, and then this is going to, this hole right here pegs into the back of the laser cannon, so this just pegs right back here. I'm going to need to loosen that up, but there you go. That's how it all fits into vehicle mode. And then, like I said, the feet, they don't have any holes or tabs, so they clearly are not going to go anywhere. And you can't put them on the original feet because they're right there, so there's no place, unfortunately, for you to put these. I guess you just store them in the bed. So that's an unfortunate oversight. Maybe there is a place they designed and I just can't tell, but it doesn't look like there's anything that's going to peg together. But you get a really cool looking vehicle mode. Once you get everything on, he does look like a beast of a vehicle. It does look like just like some kind of city driving by. He looks enormous. Yeah, it looks very brutal. So, and again, these don't really seem to fit anywhere. I think they used up the tabs there, so I don't know where you're going to peg these. There doesn't seem to be any more peg holes available. So that's too bad. And then this too, I don't know what you're going to do with that. So, I don't know how I feel about this set. I kind of recommend it. It's just a little pricey. $60 is kind of a lot for this. But if it's something you're interested in, the quality is pretty good. It seems like it'll last a while. I don't know about the ball joints on these. This seems questionable. But everything else seems like it'll last a good long time as long as you shave down the tabs so they don't break off or get stuck. So yeah, I'll leave the link in the description and you make the decision for yourself. I'll see you in the next one.